bullish. The bond segment of the market was bearish.
We came into this market with a lot of liquidity, bearing the fact that we saw postings from the joint venture of about 100 billion, and then coupon was posted in the system about 30 billion, and then we saw OMO maturities into the system, which is over 107 billion. As a result of that, we witnessed a bullish bias in the T-bills market, and then the central bank came in to conduct an OMO auction where the longest tenor offered was 359 billion. Rates came out from that auction at 13.02, which is 2 basis points below the last longest tenor auction, and about over 156 billion was sold at that tenor.
Now, there's a bond auction today. What do you expect to see, and how will the outcome determine market direction for the rest of the week?
Okay, the debt management office is offering 100 billion across 3 tenors of 5, down to 20 years, of 40 billion, and then 20 billion on the 20. And on the 30 years, I beg your pardon, new bond that will be auctioned today. The 30-year bond, for the 30 years, I'll concentrate on the 30-year bond because it's a new bond. We envisage a lot of interest on that bond, and we think it is going to close at current market levels, which is trading at about 14.5% yield.
And what's the outlook for the rest of the week?
For the outlook for the rest of the week, we are going to, on the short end of the T-bill, on short end of the curve, where I mean the T-bills, we're going to see a mixed market with a bullish bias because we expect fact posting into the market before the close of the business this week, and then we expect that the CBN will come and mop it up. But therein, we're going to just see a mixed market with a bullish bias.
All right, thank you for your time, Chioma. Chioma Udu is a fixed income dealer with GT Bank. Well, let's cross over now to the equities market and get a sense of how the midweek activities have kick-started. Let's talk to Temple. Hello, Temple. Good morning once again. Is it looking like it's going to be a good day today?
Good morning. Well, to an extent, it's looking like that. We get a sense of a positive trading day again. We don't actually rule out the likelihood of a profit taking as well, because if you look at the key benchmark indices at this point, it's still down by the same margin. It's actually closed yesterday as 0.03% at this point in time. But we've also seen over 107 million units of shares traded in early trades. And of course, that's some value of about 600 million naira. We're seeing sell-offs on 2 key companies right now, and that will be FBN Holdings, which is currently down some 3.23%, as well as FCMB rather, which is also down by about 5% or something. But if you look at the consumer goods segment of the market, a lot of investors are indicating interest in Dangote flour. In early trades, we've seen Dangote flour rising some 9.71% in the market. Yesterday, it actually closed on the heels of that announcement of a binding offer from Olam Nigeria Limited. We saw Dangote flour closing yesterday up by some 9.8%. So it's the same sentiment or the same trend that we are currently seeing on Dangote flour. I guess the whole idea around that, because I haven't really done that valuation, I guess the whole idea is that deal actually looks very attractive to some traders and some investors right here in the market. Albeit we're going to be seeing Dangote flour getting delisted from the Nigerian Stock Exchange by the time this deal, is consummated eventually. So that's one particular company that a lot of investors in the market are currently watching and, of course, putting their money on. I'm believing that with the way things are going today, we will see Dangote flour going on bid. However, if you look towards the last paragraph of this particular, the statements around this particular announcement to the stock exchange yesterday, the folks that put it together actually said that investors should trade cautiously on this particular company, that's on Dangote flour. So we'll have to get to understand what is actually playing out there, why are investors still putting down their money on it eventually, and of course be able to make that known to a lot of investors here. However, so we know that the banking sector and of course the consumer goods side of the market the key sectors that are driving performance in the market right now. UBA is up by more than 2%, given the kind of impressive numbers it actually declared for its Q1 2019 numbers, and that is also driving up performance in that side of the market. Chams PLC continues to move up. It's up by more than 7 to 8% at this point. I mean, the driver in that side of the market is the fact that there's a new investor in that particular company. It has created millions and millions of naira for some investor that actually bought into it when it was trading at 20 kobo. Now this particular company is trading at the range of 37, 38 kobo per share in the market. That's almost some kind of a 100% in value if you know, if you do your calculations and how much you've actually made or how much you actually put in ground. So, but in terms of top trades, in terms of activity level, we're seeing that very positive. We still have a very, very good buy side right now. So it tells you that there's silver lining inside. We're seeing some huge millions of units of Japol PLC very well being traded right now. Perhaps there's a news around that particular company that is yet to unfold in the market, Chimizi.
Now, what about SACO? It's morning after the listing. How is the shares doing this morning?
Well, you know, we haven't really found that ticker on the ticker tape of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. I personally haven't seen it. If you also go on the website of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, it is actually yet to be found on the portal there. But I guess before the end of the day, we will see this. We'll see the name circle eventually on the on the website and of course on the ticker tape as it actually scrolls on the trading floor of the exchange here. So that's where we'll be able to see the movement on this particular company. But the point remains the fact that the management of that particular company yesterday is looking to deliver more than 15% growth in terms of their performance on the market this year. They already, given the current the hitherto structure, they talked about some 34% growth so far in their numbers as at when they were still before they got listed, pre the listing in the market here. So, but we understand that some investors are really positive about it. I mean, the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprise, Mr. Alex Oko, actually confirmed yesterday that there will be more companies, state-owned entities coming here to the market, one in particular to be listed before September, and of course the remaining 2 out of the 4 that were identified to also join the market before December 2019. So it's something that a lot of investors are actually watching out for. The names of those other 2 state-owned entities weren't mentioned yesterday, but traders here are really bullish. Some had actually put their money on ground to buy SACO, while some didn't. But I think at the end of the day, it is to quickly see how things traditionally pan out here in the market, where you see a new company gets listed and then you see some activities around it for some time. Then before you know it, give it some 1 week, 2 weeks, you see a bit of profits taken. That's the tradition that we know here. So when the ticker tape gets visible on the exchange here, we will be able to read the numbers out better, Chimizi.
Well, Temple, we have to wrap it up here. We'll get more updates from you on our lunchtime program, Business Incorporated. Thank you. Well, it's on that note that we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimizi Obi Iwago.